Alright, so here's the way things turned out. Originally I was going to do 3 warm whites and 2 ambers in there, yellows. I had the RGB in the middle, and with 2 ambers and 3 whites, just didn't look good. It was too overpowering. So I pulled that out, threw in the 3rd amber, and that's the way that is going to stay basically for that. The outer walls, the blue LEDs are still plugged in, and I'm never going to pull those out. However, if it turns out that with all the other lights going in the model I need to make this area brighter, leaving these blue LEDs in place, what I'll be able to do is just snap off the bulb itself and plant a new LED into the entire mix there, pre-resisted and everything. All I got to do is solder 2 points instead of like 6. So that'll definitely be a handy thing. This is it for the lights. Otherwise there's nothing else that needs to go down. We'll talk about the modularity of that though. One other thing I did was to put some extra strips of styrene around these walls here. So prior to that, you can still get some light coming out of the edge just underneath. So now that should bounce it back and everything should be good. I'm not worried about that being white because overall the light that's going to be happening here is going to be pretty negligible. There will be bleed from these lights going into this room, but that adds a lot when you're looking through the window there. And I've been meaning to glue those doors on for a long time now because they just fit real nice, but it turns out don't do that. I tried test fitting all the landing gear, and that definitely looks like a trudge. I haven't read the directions on it specifically. I just figured I could piece everything together. There may be a really good trick for getting them all to work, but we'll see. I'll take a look at that. Otherwise, like I was saying, this is it for all the bottom lights. Oh, the landing bay lights. What I'm thinking about doing is putting a tube on each side. Let's get one out actually. So basically it would be a tube located somewhere down here. It's actually something like that. So the LED will be a little far in. Basically I want it to really be a spotlight when it comes out and then just bleed all over the area. So I'm thinking that the further back the LED is, the more tunnel vision that the light will get, and then that should work out pretty well. Those are going to be heavily resisted because I don't want it to be too bright. So probably about that much of tube on each side. I'll do some tests for that to see how that goes. But that will be it. So 6 more LEDs down on the bottom. Modularity of this here. I ran single wires in between all the LEDs, and that worked really good. So the master lines are here. I glued that down with a little play just in case there's any stretching, and then I did the same out here with a little extra play in case it ever gets stretched really bad. But for now, this is pretty much it. These 2 wires will plug into the main buses here. I was going to set up another bus over here for stuff, but then I realized that has to go on the underside of the floor, which has its final primer down now. Everything looks good on that, so that needs a couple days to cure though. So while that's curing, I'll definitely be looking at a lot of other pieces out of context of the entire thing and see where it all sits next. The bottom hull, this is pretty much done, or at least as done as it can be until I go to put the landing bays in. And I'm definitely glad I waited to do that because having those fixed as they were would have definitely been hazardous sitting like that instead of this. So I am really digging the tone coming out of this center room here. That's a really nice color overall. It's a very soft orange, which is what I would expect looking at all the downstairs shots. So this stairway here, I've got to get that to a similar orange. So the way it's done in the center there is with a 1-to-1 warm white and amber. So I'll try just a single white in here aiming up. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise I'll pull one of the ambers out of there. That's definitely still looking good. And all the lights here are in decent shape. I went through, tugged on all the wires just to make sure everything was a good connection. That worked out great. Glued a couple wires down to get them into a better position. But what I figured I'd show off here, I don't know if we're really going to get too many good angles, but it's really too bad the sidewalls have to go in, because there's some really interesting stuff going on over in these side areas here. Let's take a look at another one. I've got the power cord running through one of the legs now, but I still haven't decided how I'm going to do the external connection. Yeah, so there's definitely having all that light leak through over from the freezer tubes is definitely a good thing. That adds a lot of life down there. Of course, nowhere near as much of this is going to be visible, so I'm definitely glad to be getting it on camera now. Here's the primered floor. There is exactly 1/4 of one fingerprint in the gloss, unfortunately. Otherwise it's pretty much flat and just about as perfect as I expect to get it. So I've been holding off on painting this for a while now, because the whole idea is that by doing all this testing I would probably scuff up a finished painted surface. So, by waiting as long as possible, I think I'm just about ready to put down the first coats of paint on this. And from here, I can paint a lot of these small pieces, which I'll pull out now and have a look through and see where I'm going to go with them. But definitely lighting will be kind of on and off with all the painting, and the fiber opticing still to come. So I'll get on with that. Definitely going to be some nice light effects in here, and next time I get back to the lower hull like this, it'll be for the landing gear bays. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See ya.